Chiefs fans are hitting the panic button in preseason after playing in 3 straight Super Bowls. Does that sound crazy? Because it sounds crazy to me. Let's talk about that. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew? How we doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Appreciate you guys rolling in here. You know the drill. Hit that like button. Help get this out to more people. Get in the comments. Let's talk about the Chiefs. Let's have a little fun. Mike, fans are freaking out after that loss to the freaking Seattle Seahawks in preseason. Preseason, it's practice. We're talking about practice, man.
We talking about practice? Where's Iverson?
He needs to show up. He needs to talk some sense into these people. We're talking about practice.
Steve, Charles Omenihu actually said something today on X, or it was yesterday. He was like, people are just looking for stuff to talk about, and they don't know what they're talking about. In preseason, you can't figure out if you're ready to play. You figure out if you're not ready to play. That's what he posted, and he's completely right. There's guys that we can see that just aren't ready to be in the NFL, but you can't look at it and say these guys, they can't play in the NFL. So I think there's a big distinction there, and we'll go through some of it. I think the big one, Steve, that everybody panicked about is probably the offensive line. Right. When you say so, I think the offensive line's got everybody shook. There's probably a couple other ones. Would you say the run defense has been equal to the pass blocking or the protection, or do you think the offensive line's a little higher up on the pecking order here?
Well, I think the glaring problem in the preseason game that we saw with Seattle was the run defense, right? But you also have to look at it through the scope of that wasn't the first team out there at the beginning of the game. There were some ones, but it wasn't the first team. Look, so it's really hard to judge sometimes, right?
Yeah, you're right. I think the run defense one, you can just throw that one right out. They didn't even have the starters playing. I mean, look, the linebackers, Jack Cochran wasn't in position one single time all night. If your linebackers aren't in position, if you're not playing your number ones on the defensive line, and I see some Seattle fans be like, we wasn't playing our number ones. I don't know if that's true or not, but why wouldn't they be playing their number ones?
Right.
They suck, and they have to get ready for a season. We've been to the Super Bowl every freaking year since the beginning of time, it feels. I think we can manage, but they have to get it together. So I would be very surprised if I went back and they wasn't playing their ones. But here's the thing. I think, like you said it best, the defense, the run stopping, it might not be great, but the Chiefs have known this all year. They needed to get a run stuffer in the draft. That looks like they're trying to do it with Omar Norman-Lott, which is freaking wild. Mike Pennell's aging. Right, like Pennell's aging a little bit, but they really didn't get him any help. They didn't re-sign Derek Nottie, which he kind of stunk anyway when he was here. They didn't really go out and make the effort to beef it up at all. And so I think that they feel that they're good enough with it. We'll have to see, but I think the offensive line has got people in a little more of a panic than anything.
Right, and it's not just the offensive line. You keep saying the offensive line, but it's not the offensive line. Everyone's okay with Josh Simmons. Everyone's okay with the right side of the offensive line. What they're not okay with is Kingsley Suamataia. And where do we start with that? Because it's just a little confusing that they're going this hard on him this early. It's pretty wild. Like, you think they would learn a lesson from last season.
Steve, he was set up to fail last year. He's never winning the trust of anybody back.
Which is wild. You let Trey Hendrickson, the league leader in sacks, determine this rookie's career going forward. So he goes in there in his second game in the NFL in his entire life, playing a position that he might have not been ready to play, and got worked by the best pass rusher in football, and all of a sudden he's trash. And it's kind of bled over into this, because now they're like, well, let's move him on the inside here. We drafted Josh Simmons. I think Kingsley can play the guard position. And he's shown so far he can play it fairly well, but you could tell he's learning the position. He's not comfortable there. We talked about a couple things, Mike, off camera that we noticed, and we'll get to here in a little while. But the fact of the matter is, like, you got to give this kid some time. Like, even in both of the preseason games, you have a small dose of what he was even able to do. I think both games together, he might have had, 20 to 30 snaps, if that. So it's really hard to judge off of that. And I think most people are just worried about the pass pro. And rightfully so. That's his weakness right now. And we're a pass-first team. So I understand the concern. But I just think that saying that he's he's a bust. He's got to go. Get rid of Kingsley. I think that's jumping the gun way too much. Everybody needs to just calm down.
Yeah, I think it's a little much. Again, Kingsley's basically starting his rookie season all over again. He's playing a new position again in his second season, right? So he tried left tackle. They yanked him. It killed his confidence. He played a little bit of guard at the end there versus the Broncos, and now they're going to try to play him guard here. Everything that I see with Kingsley, Steve, is just, to me, it looks like it's more mental. He's in his head too much, and it's different. A guard and a tackle set differently, and Kingsley has grown up playing right tackle and left tackle. He's probably played guard throughout his career, but not at this level. You can tell he's opening up his stance a little bit too much. He's allowing guys to get into him too much. He's not being aggressive enough. And when you play tackle, you set off, you're on an island usually, and usually you got to let these defensive ends that are very talented come to you, and you got to play off them. You mirror them. On the inside, you got to become a mauler. And I believe that's why he's doing so well at the run blocking and the pass blocking he's struggling with, because he's kind of sitting back and letting them dictate what's happening and bringing the power to him. Right. He's got to somehow get the power to them. And then the other thing I see is his footwork's just a little bit slow, and he's going to get used to that. I don't know if he's out of shape maybe. Here's what I can say about Andy and company right now. Number one, I am not sold, and we've talked about this plenty of time. I'm not 100% sold on Andy Heck being a great offensive line coach. I'm just not. We've yet to see anybody except for Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, who, by the way, are generational draft pick talents. Like, I could have coached those guys to being what they are. And if you look back and you really want to analyze those two, Trey Smith's fine, but Trey Smith has tons of mental errors and holds and all kinds of stuff. He just had a couple. He had the first play of the game the other night. He had one. You just set the market with this kid, and he comes out and messes up the snap count and jumps too soon. Right. And then you've got him and Creed side by side, the top two linemen at their respective positions, and those two couldn't open up a hole on 3rd and 4th and short if you give them a tractor. They can't ever seem to do it. And they get paid too much to not do that. So everybody on this offensive line's got their faults. We don't need to talk about Jawan Taylor. Josh Simmons is still a rookie. He got beat the other night really bad on the inside. He does way too much. He just needs to chill a little bit. I think that's the number one thing Simmons needs to do is he just needs to let people come to him. He's trying to force the issue too much. He needs to give a little bit of that to Kingsley, and Kingsley needs to give a little bit of his chill to Josh Simmons, and I think those two would be nice. And we'll break down a play in a minute for Kingsley, Steve, but that's my assessment. Like, do you agree with that? Like, do you think Kingsley he's just kind of being a little too lackadaisical there?
I think you're right about him letting people get into his chest. He's kind of like, he's coming up, he's going back as if he's playing the tackle position at guard, and that's what's kind of getting him in trouble with pass protection. But here's the thing about it. I mean, when you look at it, you got a guy that's literally now played 20 to 30 snaps as a left guard in the NFL. Now, I understand there were a few snaps in that Broncos game from last year. I don't think it was a whole game. Maybe I could be wrong. But here's my assessment of the entire situation. I think Kingsley's very rough. He's a project. Everybody knows this. They knew it when they drafted him that he was a project, right? Mm-hmm. But he's got all the physical traits. He's got the speed. He's got the strength. He's got all that. They just have to they have to get it to where it needs to be, right? And you said mental game. I don't know if it's necessarily a mental game or just getting comfortable with that position and just knowing the ins and outs of the position. I think it's just going to take time and experience. And here's the way I look at it. If just set Kingsley aside, what it is I feel like as a fan base as a whole, that we have got to where we expect nothing but excellence right off the rip. And here's the thing. You know this guy's going to take a while to develop at that position. He just started playing the position. He's literally played a game and a half in the NFL. So, yeah, it's going to take some time. But we don't want to give him that time. But then again, we don't like his backup either because we don't like Caliendo. Even though Caliendo played well enough to get us all the way to the Super Bowl last year, we don't like him either. He's not good enough. But now Kingsley's not good enough. No one's good enough unless they're Joe Tooney, an all-pro left guard, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are a little angry about the Joe Tooney situation. They don't feel like we saved enough cap room to have made that move. Like,
dude, here's the thing. Yeah, like to stay younger.
2020.
I don't even think that's a thing, though. I think that's just necessary moves that you have to make to stay younger and to keep a dynasty moving along, right? You can't just keep overpaying guys at a guard position and expect to be able to continue that level of play. like as a whole, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of players on this team,
Well,
a lot of
Steve,
mouths to feed.
You mentioned it. People are just, they're not, people are ready to just always draft picks and everything. It's just, if they're not instant Pro Bowl, you're done. You're a bust. You are just out.
Right.
Like, that's just the way it is. All right, bring this up. Sorry, Mike. Talking to me. Norman Lott looks like a raging bust. This kid's literally played in 2 preseason games.
Right.
He's
And not
a
to
raging
mention,
bust.
he
Getting
might-
stonewalled all the time. He's not even playing the position he was drafted in college to play.
that's what I was getting ready to say. Like, if they try to continue to make him a run stuffing nose tackle, then he's gonna be a bust.
He's
That's
going to
not
be a
his
bust.
game. That's not
No.
what he did. He's a
When
pass
I-
rusher.
Yeah, when I raged about Omar Norman Lott, he was to disrupt the passer. He was to do the Turk Wharton row, not the Derek Nottie row.
That's a terrible
Why-
idea.
That was the stupidest idea I think I've ever seen. Joe Cullen and Andy Heck must have got in a room together this year and beat their heads against the wall for about 4 hours because these two just can't get it together right now.
It's very strange. That we'll talk more about that Omar Norman Lott situation, but like right now, the way it's looking, they're making a huge mistake.
I still don't think we could call the guy a bust after like 30 plays.
No, not even with that. You can't. But I'm just saying they are setting him up for failure.
Yeah.
They're setting him up for failure. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Shout out Amy Casey being a member. Welcome to the crew. And then Tony with the 2-bomb says run defense kind of sucks. Love both. Appreciate the 2-bomb, Tony. Yeah, the run defense was trash. We all know that. But I think take it with a grain of salt.
Again, not a single.
Yeah, it's preseason. It wasn't
Yeah.
the ones out on the field.
There were no ones, and the Nick Bolton thing was the big one. When you don't have your middle
Right.
linebacker, or you don't have Drew Tranquil that can run those guys down like that, like those two see the field very well. When you don't have nobody at that second level helping out, you're going to get ran all over.
Right. Well, let's stick with the offensive line for now, and then we'll get to the defense. But the thing with Kingsley Suamataia, like even if you think he's playing bad at this moment, which here's what I think. Is he playing bad? No. I think half the game, the run game, he's been excellent. He's been the best run blocker on the team. His pass pro, which is the most important part, I do understand this, is lacking right now. But I think a lot of it's technique, experience, and just learning it all together, right? So either way, you're just jumping the gun. We're 2 preseason games in, and he's only played a couple of series in each game. And it's like, to me, if you look at the overall tape, I don't think he's played that bad.
Isn't this a mistake on the coaching staff yet again? These kids need to be playing more.
Yeah, for
I'm sorry,
sure.
but Kingsley and Josh Simmons together, neither one of those should be getting pulled with the first team. They need to be playing at least the first quarter, maybe even the first half, every preseason game to get in shape for this.
Right.
They have to get in shape. They've got to get better. They've got to get some stuff under their belts. They did the same thing with Kingsley last year. They was pulling him with the ones, and the kid was just a project. He's still a project. He needs to be playing. They need to be playing, and they're not. And then we wonder why it takes 7 weeks in the season to get these guys together. This is what the preseason's for. But yet Andy Heck and all these guys, they're not playing. They don't give them real camp battles. Josh Simmons has had a camp battle at left tackle this year. If he turns out 3 or 4 weeks in and they get film on him, and let's say he is tipping plays, and let's say his tipping plays is causing Kingsley to struggle next to him, and Kingsley's struggling is causing Creed to struggle. Like, that's going to be a chain effect down the line. So let's just say all this is true. We could have fixed this if we would have maybe let Jalen Moore play a little bit of left tackle and seen what he had. This could have been fixed if you had a real guy in here to challenge Kingsley throughout the process.
So there's like a couple of standout plays that people are referring to where Kingsley just got beat so bad or put on his back by a defender or whatever. And there's a common theme with a couple of those, Mike. He's tripping over his own guy's feet.
Yeah, he tripped over Pacheco on that first one.
Is that not like something that's easier to fix, right? Because this kind of goes along with what you said. As a guard, you want to kind of come up. You want to be the one that delivers that first oomph. You want to be the guy bringing the power there. But he's kind of fading back as if he's playing the tackle position. He's getting too deep and he's starting to trip over people. So I feel like that's something that could easily be taken care of. It's not like Kingsley's getting overpowered and thrown on the ground. He's going backwards, so the momentum's going the wrong way at that point, and then he's barely getting tripped up on somebody on his own team. Of course, you're going to fall on your back, right? So I don't think it's as bad as people think. But it doesn't look good for him. I'm not saying that it's okay, but I think it definitely looks worse than it is.
Can we bring up the play you're talking about? And I wrote about this the other day. I said Kingsley in particular had 2 bad reps. It's hard to tell, but the first one, it looks like he trips, which it does. It is 100% confirmed he trips. Here's the screenshot. He's stepping on his foot. Do you not see that right here where my browser is? Byron Murphy's pushing him. Creed is in Byron Murphy's side, actually helping his momentum. So now there's 2 guys pushing against Kingsley, who is not anchored. He's on his heel, and he's stepping on Pacheco's foot. Of course, he went to the ground. Here's the play. Tell me if you can see this, Steve. I don't know if we're being able to see it or not.
Yeah,
okay.
I can see it.
Here's the actual play. So if you watch, here we go. You're going to see Kingsley. He's right here. He's man up. Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't the play. This is the play that got called back for Trey Smith. So, okay, it's right here. Here we go. Here he comes up the middle, right there. He gets pushed. He's anchored. He's trying to anchor. His very first anchor step after making contact with Byron Murphy, who was literally like a top 10 NFL talent last year. He steps on Pacheco's foot, and he goes down. Okay, that is not Kingsley being out of leveraged. That's not Kingsley not doing anything right. That's not Kingsley being weak. That's just called bad luck. That's just bad luck, Steve. When you're stepping on Pacheco's foot like that, it's just bad luck. And how do you coach this? How do you coach this for Kingsley? You say, oh, I'm sorry, you're not supposed to step on his foot. You know, maybe Pacheco needs to not have his stance so widened. I don't know. But, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's tough to try to do this, and we'll look at it again here. If you watch, look, Kingsley's right here. He's fine. He's looking where he's going. He's took 2 good steps. He's ready to go. He's identified who he's taking. He glanced here, but I don't think this guy comes. And if he does, he comes up Simmons' inside gap. So, okay, so he did come. He come on the outside of Kingsley here. So this is the one Pacheco has to pick up. And Pacheco does it properly. Again, Kingsley. Now look at Kingsley. He's completely set. He's getting ready to anchor down right here. Boom. He's anchoring. His first anchor step is on Pacheco's foot, and he falls. So, look, we cannot – and, again, I'm not trying to make any excuses for Kingsley because he had some bad sets, and we're going to talk about those. But on this particular one, all I heard was Kingsley got thrown on his back again on the first play. Kingsley's not ready. He's a bust. These people didn't even pay attention to see – that he literally stepped on somebody's foot and got knocked out of position. That's probably not going to happen very many times, right?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's just bad luck. Real quick, want to shout out Matt with the 2 bombs. Says, you can tell lately who's been a fan before 2018. I think he's alluding that some of the impatient people are like we have to win, be the best ever at every snap. But I don't know. It could go both ways. And then shout out Pop's, been a member for 22 months, says this year we'll see how good our coaches are. D-line and O-line are both suspect. We have to give these kids time to develop, keyword being kids there. Yeah, Kingsley's 22 years old, man. 22.
He's younger. I want to say he's younger than probably 30 players that were drafted this year. Isn't that wild?
Pretty nuts. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. So, look, I'll go on with a little bit of film here. I mean, this is fun to see. I don't want to look at this one anymore, though. Let's go back to the other play that was kind of sus that everybody was crying about. I'll throw it up because I had this one just today. I threw it out probably right before we come on air. So, it's not a lot of people seeing it. Nobody sees it anyway. X hides our stuff, like straight up. It's funny. Okay, here we go. This is the All-22. So this is great. This is a fun one to watch because Kingsley gets beat here, and everybody's like, "Oh, Kingsley." Okay, let's look at this. So you've got a 12 personnel right now. Okay, so you've got number 80. I want to say 82. Is that over here on the edge?
Yep.
Who is that? Noah Gray and Wiley.
Noah's 83.
It's looking like Wiley
that might
and
be
Noah
him.
Gray.
Yep.
It might be. I just can't see the number right. It might be a 3. So, okay, it looks like Noah Gray and Jared Wiley. So they're in. It's a very heavy set, single back shotgun. We all know this is going to be a handoff in an Andy Reid scheme, usually. Okay? But it's not. It's not. And so, to me, they're identifying your front. So, look, you've got 2 edges, and they're standing up, and they're both out there playing they're basically playing a 9 technique, almost a wide 9 to the guy over over the guy with Noah Gray. But you've got your two inside guards here, or your tackles. One is to Kingsley's outside shoulder. So he's playing almost like a 3-eye or a 4-eye technique in a way, which is basically right above 71, which is Simmons. And that's going to be Kingsley's guy. Okay, there's no doubt about it. And then you've got the other one between Trey Smith and Creed. So when you watch this play, Kingsley does get beat, but I'll stop it right here. So I zoomed in here. Watch Kingsley right here. Did you see Kingsley's head movement? Watch. Well, I didn't go back far enough. Let's go back a little bit further. Right here. Watch Kingsley's head movement. Okay, look, he's looking at the guy he's supposed to block. Is he not? You can see his face mask on the left side. Do you see that? Now watch. He takes his eyes off of him because he's not sure his assignment. And he's checking to see if linebacker's going to come or if Creed's going to pass off the defensive tackle to him. Watch. Right here, he's looking back. Did you see that look back to the right? Yeah. And then he misses his guy to the left, and he's getting beat. Luckily, he just runs him by Minshew. It's not a big deal. But I paused it. Look, right there, you can see his head turn. He's looking to see if the linebacker's coming or if the guy on the defensive tackle side over by Trey Smith was going to stunt all the way across the formation. And this causes him to get beat. He's a step late. Kingsley's thinking too much. I don't know if it's a communication error on their end, because when he got beat last week with the Cardinals, Steve, there's a communication error with Josh Simmons, and it was a zone run left, which means Kingsley was supposed to have the guy because he was playing a 4-eye. He was shaded to the inside of Simmons, which makes him Kingsley's responsibility. And Kingsley let him go. He cut across Kingsley's face mask, which put him in the A gap, which means Creed should have got him, but Creed had already peeled off to a linebacker. So he got missed, and of course the guy blew up the play and blah, 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 and that's the one Kingsley threw. He threw the safety out of the play. He actually had a good block. It just wasn't the right man. So what do you think? Did you see what I was talking about where Kingsley had looked and you could see Kingsley like look off to the right for a split second then get beat? Did you see that or no?
Absolutely see it, and this goes right along with what I was saying a minute ago, Mike. I just think it's more about being comfortable in your position and knowing your assignment. Like that's literally Kingsley's downfall right now. He's got to get the reps. He's got to learn the position. Right now, he's second guessing himself, and if you second guess yourself in the NFL, you done lost a step. And that's exactly what's happening. I mean, you can see it every time that he has a play that's not working out very well, or the ones that people are like really getting the pitchforks out over. It's literally like mental mistakes. And I just think that that's kind of expected at this point with him. I mean, it's the second preseason game as a guard. I think that's going to happen.
I could call out one more thing here on Kingsley, and nobody else is going to call this out. They should. I would expect people like Mitchell Schwartz, to call this out. He's yet to do it. Kingsley played left tackle. When you play left tackle, what do, Steve? You do those big fallback steps. Boom, boom, boom. You take wide steps right off the bat. You're used to doing that. Look at Kingsley's first step, how wide that left foot is, because he knows he's supposed to be going out to the left, and he's supposed to block that dude out that way. Watch how big that second step is. See how wide he got in that base? Look at him compared to Trey Smith's width.
Yeah.
See, Kingsley is still playing as if he's playing tackle. He's got to shorten this base up. Look how short Creed's base is here in the middle. You can't even see his left foot. If he was as wide as Kingsley, he'd have tripped over Kingsley's ankle. So that's what I'm saying. Kingsley is too wide right now. He's playing tackle technique as a guard. He's got to tighten that up. He's got to take the hit to the defender and not let the defender come to him. And right here, the defender came to him because of that split-second look back where he was like, oh, no, did I mess up? Am I supposed to be hitting that guy? You can see it right there. Like you see his helmet move. And that's all it took, because this allows the defensive tackle to get and make first contact. Watch, Kingsley's late. And when he was late, you see him put the arm on there. And let's watch the arm. His arm should never be at a full extension. 100% should never be at full extension as a guard. Where's it at? Full extension. And all it took was a swim move. Watch how easy this swim move is. Nope, not today. And then he actually holds him. So, look, it's just small little things like this. And look, I'm not saying I'm Andy Heck. I'm not saying I'm a better whatever, but I'm noticing things from Kingsley that a lot of people are just not wanting to notice. They're just wanting to say, look, the kid sucks. I think the kid doesn't know how to play guard just yet. I don't think Andy Heck and them are teaching him these small things. If they are teaching him, he's not putting them to use. And so that's another teaching technique. Like, how can the teacher make the student understand? And if he really can't get it, he can't get it. But that's where you got to bring in more guys here to give these guys some run, or let these guys practice more. They've got to get in these game situations more and practice more. They need to be playing more in the preseason. Kingsley's got to play more like a guard. He's got to be more aggressive. He's got to get his footwork tighter. And I think he's going to be fine because he is a mauler in the run game, Steve. He is nasty at the run.
Right, he's just got to figure out this pass pro thing. And I think it's going to come with experience. Like I've said a million times over the offseason, we're not really going to know what we have at the left side of the offensive line until about week 8. Like, it's going to take a while for them to get in there, get comfortable, and us really know what they're going to be. Because right now you're kind of just taking shots at a kid that has no experience. And it just seems kind of just a waste. And it also seems like, as a fan base, I hate the attack mode that we can get in as, like, the majority. You know, everybody's got to parrot what the other people say, and then everybody gets on these bandwagons. And, I mean, we saw it with other guys like Sky Moore, Felix Anudike Uzama, and stuff like that. Now, granted, all these guys, they might deserve it at this point. Sky Moore absolutely does. Like, there's nothing that you can't defend him.
For Felix, this is his year. This is make or break year. I think you're going to know what you got with Felix after this season.
Of course, but once again, they read this stuff. They see this stuff. Why? I don't know why you want to put that, like, negative stuff in the head of a young guy like Sky Moore. Maybe he could have looked much different if he didn't have the yips, because everybody's been talking about how bad he is for 3 years. You know, so who knows? You really don't know. That's the thing. I think these guys just have to let it play out and see how it goes.
Right. Shane, member for 22 months, he says, love how you guys break everything down. You all seriously deserve a job. Hey, I'll take one with the NFL, and I'll go in. My first duty will be to not give Rashee Rice 10 games. That's the rumor, Steve, that they're trying to give him a 10-game
right,
suspension.
Yeah. It's the first thing I would do.
Absurd, bro.
Jordan Addison, you got drunk. You could have killed everybody on the interstate. It's fine. 3 games. Rashee Rice, you were being stupid, and you could have killed everybody on the interstate. 10. That don't make any sense to me.
More than half the season.
That's so stupid.
Doesn't make any sense. Appreciate you, Shane. Look, here, when I try to watch film, look, like, I threw out some film with Kingsley the other day too, and I want to say Mitchell Schwartz was commenting on that too. He kind of come at it with an arrogant vibe. You know, I played in the NFL. What do you know? Well, I mean, I've played football. I've not played at that level, but I understand concepts of run schemes. To me, the play looked different than what the play was. He kept saying it was an outside zone left, and I'll take it. I even told him that. I'm not stubborn enough to say I know everything there, and if it was an outside the zone left, I'll take it at face value. He's played the game. He knows what it is. I'll say they did that. And from then, I then reanalyzed the play from the play call he called. And he kept insinuating that if Kingsley had a good rep, which I showed him blocking Buda Baker out of the play, that Creed must have messed up. Now, look, there's 2 things wrong with that. One, Creed is not God. He can make mistakes too. So did he mess up? I don't know. Maybe he did mess up. It kind of looks like he did. He had a guy head up on him, and he passed him to Trey Smith. His assignment on that play on an inside zone left is the A gap, anybody head up on you. And he passed him to Trey Smith, and he went straight for a linebacker who wasn't coming. And yet, the guy that Kingsley was supposed to block in the 4-eye technique, yes, that was Kingsley's man, but he shot across Kingsley's body on a stunt and went to the A gap. And Kingsley let him go because who has the A gap? Creed Humphrey. Where was Creed? Up the field blocking a linebacker. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe Creed did make a mistake. I don't know. But I'm not going to get on there and say, this guy definitely did this, this guy definitely did this. I do not know. I do not know how the Chiefs call protections. I don't know if they're supposed to double. I don't know if they pass them and go to linebackers. Nobody knows this. And that includes every analyst on TV. They do not know this unless they've been in the room. And yes, Mitchell Schwartz has been in the room, but Mitchell Schwartz doesn't know any of the intricacies that they may have changed since he's been gone. So, again, not saying Mitchell did anything wrong, because he was just insinuating that Creed had to have messed up if Kingsley had a good play. Well, maybe he did. I don't know. And then by his premise, maybe Kingsley did mess it up. Who knows? But I still think for who Kingsley blocked, hell of a block. May have been wrong. But
KT
looked
with a
good doing it.
2-bomb. Says, is Trey the most penalized guard? No, he's not. It's funny, though, because I'll tell you this. For most of the time, like, it kind of holds true with offensive line. No matter if it's tackle, guard, center, whatever. Usually, the best guys in the league are the highest penalty guys, honestly. Like, if you go to tackle, I think it was Laramie Tunsil. One of the top tackles. He's the most penalized offensive lineman. You go to guard, it was Sam Cosme. It was Quentin Nelson, Jackson Powers Johnson. Like, these are good guards, and they're the highest penalized in the league. Trey's not. He's not up there with them. He's not to that level. But I think a lot of people maybe put too much into penalties. Obviously, you don't want timely penalties. You don't want drive-killing penalties. Those are always a pain in the ass, right? Nobody wants that. But I do think people put too much stock into how many penalties people get. You know what I'm saying? Like, penalties are just a part of football. I mean, they can call a holding penalty on any play for any player if they feel like it. So it's I just don't put that much weight into it. Now, if it becomes an obvious glaring problem, which it kind of looked like with Jawan Taylor, right? Like, oh, this guy's getting penalty after penalty. Okay, cool. That requires a closer look. So what do? You take a closer look and then you realize
that's a problem with him.
Right.
Yeah. It was a problem with him. It got to that point. It became, look, if you're getting 20 penalties a season, something's wrong. And
absolutely,
again,
but then
the
that
NFL could be
what does that
targeting
garner?
him.
That garners a closer look. You go look at it a little bit closer, and some of them were deserved, some of them weren't. So, I mean, it's just kind of whatever.
He probably deserved what? Maybe 13, 14 out of the 20. So 13 or 14 puts him in line with Creed, or not Creed, but Trey. I don't know how many Trey deserved either. There were certain times that they was calling stuff on Trey that wasn't really there either.
Yeah,
so
there were a couple.
There's a lot of different, things with those.
Yep. Matt with the 5-bomb says, do y'all think the coaches are worried about the O-line, which is why we haven't seen 15 besides one drive? I don't think that's it. We weren't going to see Patrick, really. It's the preseason. I think we might see another drive.
Patrick. I don't think we'll
maybe
see him
another
in
drive.
The third game.
Yeah, it's
I don't
just
know. I
something
think they just might be done, man.
Well, I did read that they were going to maybe – that was the whole plan from the get-go, was to sit them all in the second game, let them get a drive in the final game.
What's the purpose of that?
I don't know. Closer to the actual game, I guess.
Oh,
I
maybe.
I don't know. But no, I don't think they're worried per se. They might be worried that the offensive line might not be up to par that they wanted it to be, but I don't think it has anything to do with Patrick playing in the preseason, no. But appreciate the 5.
No, I don't feel like this offensive line is any worse than last year's.
I mean, one position, and it's obvious why it is. Like, people can get mad at Kingsley all they want, but when you go from an all-pro guard like Joe Tooney to a kid that's never played the position before, what do you expect? There's got to be a learning curve.
Yeah, and so the 3 on the right side, and the 2 and Creed in the middle, that's the same. And so
I feel like if you're expecting him to play at the level of Joe Tooney, then that's on you. That's not even a Kingsley problem. That's a you problem. I don't know. It just seems wild to me. Romastamo with the 5-bomb. Says our fan base has been in full panic mode each of the last 5 preseasons. That's kind of like what I was poking fun at with the title and the thumbnail and all that. But it's like, what are we doing? Like, this team's been in the Super Bowl for the last 3 seasons, and everyone's in full meltdown mode in preseason again because they think, oh God, it's awful. The season's over already because Kingsley isn't an all-pro guard. I don't know. It just seems wild to me that everybody gets so worked up. I love the passion. We're very passionate fans too, right? We'll go at it. But I don't know. It just seems to me it's obvious with these young guys, you got to give them a little bit of time. Like, if we get halfway through the season and Kingsley's just getting worked every game, then yeah, we probably have a problem, right? Kingsley's not going to be a good guard. This ain't going to work. But in the second game of the preseason, I don't know. It just seems premature.
Yeah, it's definitely premature. I don't expect this offensive line to fully gel until probably mid-season. And I mean, again,
that's what I'm saying, about week 8.
Yeah, and again, I mean, the coaches, if this is how they're going to do the off season and they're not letting them play in the preseason and you can't do this and you can't do that, they're kind of hindering players to not be able to develop as quick as we want them to, right? Like the NFL kind of does this. Like they can't hit certain times of the year. They can't do this. There's only so many practices where you can put pads on.
Think about it. Just for Josh Simmons, for instance, you only get 20 snaps throughout the preseason, so he's kind of developing and settling in as an offensive left tackle in the NFL, and he's trying to develop against guys like Khalil Mack and Max Crosby, as opposed to developing in the preseason in the practice games, right? It just seems absurd. I understand where you're coming from, Mike. I think they should definitely get more snaps in the preseason. I get the injury concerns, especially with Simmons. I understand it. He was coming off that patellar tendon.
Football.
But it's part of it. You still got to let them go through their lumps, right? Appreciate the 5. And then Terry with the $1.50 super sticker. Appreciate the support, everybody. You guys are freaking awesome. But yeah, man, we talked about the offensive line a lot. So, yeah, we're having a little bit of connection issues between the two of us. I've noticed that. It's been a thing with our StreamYard thing lately, but it'll get worked out. But anyway, let's move on to a different position. And before we do, just wanted to take a second and thank everybody for being here tonight and all that good stuff. Y'all know the drill. Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to be a member, join.allchiefedup.com. If you want some merch.allchiefedup.com. Check it all out. We have a Jalen Royal shirt tagged in this video, particular up at the top of the chat. Check it out. Get yourself something nice. But, Mike, let's move over to the defensive line. We'll just go ahead and go there. We'll stay in the trenches for now. We saw earlier, we had Mary who said that she thinks that Omar Norman-Lott is going to be a bust. And I've seen a lot of other people talking about the offensive line, like Gelati not being as good as they thought, or Omar Norman-Lott not being as good as they thought. It's so hard to make a judgment. And, in the preseason, a game and a half into their career, like it's really hard to make a judgment like that. But from what we have seen, let's talk about Omar Norman-Lott. And you pointed out the glaring problem, right?
Yeah.
What are we doing with Omar Norman-Lott, guys? Like, I don't know if it's Spags, I don't know if it's Colin, I don't know if it's Andy Reid himself. But whatever we're trying to do, the little experiment with Omar Norman-Lott, that is one of the worst decisions I think I've ever seen if they continue to go that route. Now, if it's just something you wanted to do for a minute and just see, like, hey, can we get some good run reps out of the kid too? Then okay, I'm all for it. But don't take the best, inside pass rusher in the entire college football last year, a guy that has a crazy first step, can get to the quarterback quick, can disrupt, can do all this stuff. He's known as a pass rusher. Why are we trying to add pounds to him and make him Derek Nottie Jr.? That's just a whiff. And if you're going to try to make a guy Derek Nottie or some kind of run-stuffing nose tackle, why in the hell are you drafting him in the second round? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, the whole second round thing is crazy. Look, if you keep him like he was, I think he was worth the pick. I don't think that was too much of a reach if you let him play what he was supposed to play, which is a disruptor. We've seen it time and time again all the way through the Senior Bowl, everything. If you're going to change his position, then I feel like you have to go and you've got to say, look, that was way too high of a pick. That's like saying you're going to take a tight end and turn him into a wide receiver and you're going to take him in the second round. But if he's a wide receiver, he'd probably be like a 6th round pick. If Omar Norman-Lott was strictly designed to come into this league and be a run defender and weigh 25 pounds more than he is when he played in college, then he was not worth a 2nd round pick. He was a 6th or 7th. He's probably undrafted because that's the one thing they said he couldn't do in college was stop the run. So why would you take him in the 2nd round and say he's our run stopper? It doesn't make any sense. I'm not for sure what the Chiefs are trying to pull there. I'm not for sure. I'm not read what it was, but Matt Lane, he's been on the show a few times. He actually wrote something about that, and he thinks that what they're doing is going to work and it makes sense. Now, I don't know why he's writing that. I'd like to see it. I'd like to read it. I'd like to hear his ideas on it. But from everything I'm seeing, I don't see what the positive is here. I just don't.
It doesn't make any sense to me. If you wanted something like that, draft somebody like that. I just don't understand why you try to change who somebody is. Like, why? This is why he was to the point he was in his life as a football player. This is why he was going in the second round of the draft, was because he's a hell of a pass rusher. He's a disruptor. He's fast. He gets off quick. Like, why try to change his complete game? That just blows my mind. It's pretty wild. 5 bomb from Tony says, my plums are feeling good about Thornton and Brownlee, though. Hey, man. Those guys have been pretty good. And we'll talk more about the receivers here in a little while. We'll get back to the offense. But, yeah, I mean, it's still going to be interesting to see if they'll even be on this roster or how that's going to go. But they've been pretty impressive so far, man. I appreciate the 5 bomb, by the way.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
But sticking to the defensive line, let's talk about Ashton Gelati for a second, too. A lot of people, I guess, were expecting him to come in and be some kind of game-changing pass rusher right off the rip. Obviously, this is one of those things, guys, give it some time. We'll see what happens. He's also not like a – I don't think Gelati's like a super flashy guy either. I think he's very George Karlaftis-esque. Like you said, they come from the Brom coaching tree. It even come out later that George Karlaftis had been a mentor for Ashton Gelati prior to the whole thing. So they're very similar players. They're high motor. They're going to work hard. They're going to get the job done, but they're not going to be like crazy flashy. You're not getting, TJ Watt or Micah Parsons or, even Max Crosby or any of those cats. It's not the same kind of dude. He's more of a George Karlaftis guy, and I think it'll take him some time to get his footing as well. So what do you think about how he's been so far, Mike? I think Gelati obviously hasn't done anything spectacular, but I don't think he's looked bad either. I think if anything, maybe his size can be detrimental to him. He gets washed out in some run plays. That's about the only negative I've seen so far. But that's something that could be worked on too.
Yeah, look, if you think Gelati is going to be Trey Hendrickson, you're sadly mistaken. That's a tough one. Gelati had a hell of a season last year in U of L. I'm pretty sure he played 12 games as a senior, and he only had 4.5 sacks. He just had 4.5 sacks. So I don't know what we're all expecting here. Now, here's what I do expect from Ashton Gelati. He works, he grinds, he is undersized, but he will take on defenders. You've seen him fighting Josh Simmons in practice. Like, he's tough. You put him in the same position over and over again against the same guy, he will find ways to beat him. He's got a plethora of moves. He's fast. He's got a good rip move. He's got a good spin move. He's got a good cross-chop move. This kid's got a lot of stuff when you watch him. And I'm not seeing nothing flashy in the preseason, but it's still the preseason.
Talk about practice, man.
Yeah, and again, if he had 4.5 sacks at U of L in his senior season, why do you think in the first 2 games of preseason where he's maybe went 40 total snaps or 50 total snaps, why do we think he would have got a sack in those 50 snaps? Like, that's a pretty tough thing to do as well. So, look,
Right.
You've got to be a little bit toned down there. But Gelati is a beast. I fully expect this kid's going to be at that 10-sack level here in the next few years.
Got to give it time, man. That's the name of the game with these young guys. Got to give it some time. Let them develop. Let them see what they can be. Then we'll judge them. But quit prematurely judging. Shout out Old Man with 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, Pops. If y'all got one of those, thank them in the chat. Throw some legendaries in the chat for Pops. And also, we got a 10 bomb from Nick Lowe. He says, so I think people need to realize the plays they are calling are very basic for preseason. Also, how would you feel to trade George for Hendrickson? Ooh, okay.
Well, let's talk about his first statement.
Yeah.
He's 100% right. The Chiefs are calling the same most vanilla basic plays you've ever seen.
I think both.
This is
both
what they
sides
do.
of the football, right?
Right, on both sides of the football. And most of the time, the other team was. I mean, the Seattle wasn't doing nothing crazy. They were just lining up and pushing it down our throat.
They're just running the ball over and over and over again.
It was mano-a-mano, and what they proved was their first team was better than our second team. That's what they proved. And then they proved their second team was better than our second team. Now, I don't know why that was. I really don't. I think the Chiefs are as deep this year as they've ever been. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that the second team and third team was getting bullied like they was. But you've got to remember, the Chiefs are never a big-time bully ball team. You get a team that comes out there and dominates clock, runs it down our throat, and smashes us in the mouth. Why the hell do you think we struggle with AFC South teams so much?
Right. Back when, the Titans had Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry, they always gave us fits. The Colts always gave us fits.
Mahomes has never beat the Colts in the regular season. So, look, here's the thing. those kind of teams that play clock control and want to push it down our throats will push it down our throats. There's nothing we can do. We signed up for Andy Reid. We signed up for his cute offense. You live by it, you die by it. And you can't have both. It's tough to build a grinding, smash mouth defense. Spags doesn't run that kind of defense anyway. Spags is a cutesy kind of defense.
Of course he is. He's like the Andy Reid of the defense, right?
Yeah.
He's always disguising things, confusing quarterbacks. But his defense is set up to stifle guys like Josh Allen, to stifle guys like Lamar Jackson. That's who they're trying to beat. That's really what the level they're on. There's a lot of Chiefs games. If you go back in the last couple of years, run the football. Go ahead. We don't care that much. We're going to bend, don't break 99% of the time. Do what you do, but we're not going to let up the big play, and we're not going to let your quarterback run us to death. But they'll let a lot of power football happen, and that's just how it is. And even with the defensive line with these Chiefs defenses, we've talked about this a few times, Mike. It's not all about run stuffing with these guys. A lot of it is do what you do, and then these linebackers are going to clean up the mess. And that's why Nick Bolton is still here. That's why they love Nick Bolton, because he does that. And like we saw that in the preseason game too. There was no Nick Bolton. There weren't guys out there like Tranquil, and Leo played a little bit, but there was no one on the field that was cleaning up that mess. So they're getting to the second level, and they were continuing. So
Cochran may have played one of the worst games I've ever watched anybody play at linebacker.
Yeah, Cochran kind of stunk, man. I'm not going to lie. And it's okay. You can have a bad game here and there. Cochran's played a lot of good football over the years with the Chiefs.
Cochran is a special teams guy. Like that's Steve. Cochran is the epitome of what me and you try to tell people. It's tough to have a really solid football team when you're keeping people around for just special teams only. You need guys that can also play their position very well.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think you just put people on the squad for special teams only at this point. I don't know if you can. Shout out Peter Ortiz with 5 more gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. Put some more legendaries in the chat for Peter Ortiz, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the gifted memberships. We love getting the ACU crew built up. We'll be having our members-only live stream here in the next week or two for August. We'll have something fun to give away. So if you're not a member and you didn't get one of those free memberships, you can go to join.allchiefedup.com.
Steve, I already know what I'm giving away.
We'll talk about that in a second. But if you guys would like to help build the crew up, I would like for you guys to gift out some memberships. Yeah. Build the army, baby. Mike, what do you got over there?
Give it a shot. I'm not going to tell you who signed it. But
Why
I've
not?
got NFL football here.
Why not? Let's do it. Go ahead and announce it now.
Okay, I can announce who signs it.
Let's tell them what they're getting this month.
We were talking about run defense. Well, this is the best run stuffer we got, big dog. A little Pinnell action.
Oh.
We got a little Mike Pinnell action, baby.
Big Pinnell energy, baby. That's nice. I like
61. That. A little Mike Pinnell authorized football here.
Yeah, so we'll give away a signed Mike Pinnell football. That's what we're going to do this time
pretty
around.
Pretty sick, actually. I love it.
If you want a chance to win stuff once a month, get on board. Join allchiefedup.com. We'd appreciate it. We like the crew growing up. I feel like there's a monster crawling through behind me.
A little PP on the PP with the Pinnell signing here.
Heck yeah, man. I like it. I would want that football. Like we had a freaking 50 bomb from Peter Ortiz. Let's freaking go, Peter. Peter killing it tonight,
Appreciate
ladies
you,
and gentlemen. Let's give him a round of applause, Mike.
Yeah, I give you a round of applause.
Peter's a legend. Been helping the channel like crazy. Appreciate
Peter
you, my
knows
man.
ball, too. Peter knows ball. Before I broke down everything.
Big Peter energy.
I seen Pete in the chat, and he said that he thinks Kingsley's confused. He didn't know what I was. Peter's not in on what we're talking about. He didn't sit down and analyze the play with me, which means he's seen it too. He's a little confused.
Right.
He's a little out of. He's thinking too much. Football is about stop thinking and start playing. If you're thinking too much, if you're thinking at all, you're thinking too much. Let's put it that way. You've got to know what your assignment is. You got to go hit somebody. Football's about hitting people and being aggressive. And if you're thinking too much, you can't do that. So Peter knows ball. Peter with the 50 bomb. Appreciate you, brother.
Let's freaking go. Appreciate you, my man. All right, Mike, let's move it back to the secondary. Let's get to the secondary a little bit. Then I want to jump back to the offense, talk about the fun stuff people want to talk about, receivers, things like that. But let's talk about the secondary, man. We saw another loser in this last game, and that was Josh Williams.
Joshy Poo, and I don't understand it. I'm kind of with you, though, on the whole Jack Cochran thing. Sometimes bad games are going to happen.
That's true. I
I
think
don't think that Josh was completely out of position on that play. He just turned around wrong, like he timed his look back.
That was bad. Yeah.
The guy, it wasn't a great play. But I'll say this, I still trust him a lot more than Najee at this point. And look, Najee made a hell of a play in the end zone, and I'll give him credit. That was a beautiful play. But we can't let Najee get burned every other week, and then he has one good play in the end zone, and now everybody's supposed to eat their words. Who's talking now about Najee? It was one freaking play, dude. So I guess Sky Moore's 85-yard punt return is supposed to just erase all his BS? Like, he had a punt return, so now put him on the squad. He's wide receiver 2. No, one play don't do it. You got to keep stacking. And I get tired of hearing people say that kind of crap. Najee, if you want to develop trust, you've got to do this game in and game out, play in and play out, not once every 6 months, bro.
Right. Well, I'd be willing to say that Josh Williams has been more consistent at the position than Najee Johnson, even 100%. With this bad game. So, Najee Johnson, it was nice to see him actually make a good play, but let's call it like it is. It was a good play.
And then injured.
Right.
Which is another thing that constant injuries with Najee Johnson, too. That's another thing. We've got to keep these corners healthy and keep them on the field, man.
We need Christian Fulton healthy and out there. We need Christian Fulton healthy and out there more than we thought at the beginning of the season. So I think Christian Fulton, you got Trent McDuffie, you're going to see Jalen Watson, who, if he can stay healthy.
He's constantly injured, too.
I think those are the guys that you really want to pay attention to. And then Noel Williams has showed that he can do this. I think obviously, it's just a preseason. We've only seen him in small doses here and there. But the kid can play. Like, I think he could get in there and he could develop as a corner, and I would be completely fine with him playing corner or even starting.
Throwing him to the Wolves just week 1, being like, hey, buddy, you're going to start with Trent McDuffie.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I don't know if Christian Fulton ain't ready to go, would you trust Noel Williams, or would you rather have Najee Johnson or
I take Noel
Watson
Williams in a heartbeat.
Over Jalen too? Over Jalen Watson?
No, I think now if Christian Fulton's not available, Fulton's not available, then I'm okay with it being Noel, Watson, and McDuffie, 100%.
Yeah,
that's where I would be at.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I mean, what do we really have with Christian Fulton? We know he's a good man corner. He's kind of physical and that, but we've only seen what he did with Los Angeles. We haven't even got to see him much yet. Has he even been on the field?
He played a little bit just not in the preseason games, but he picked off Mahomes just the other day in practice. I think he sees the field well. That's a positive. He's been around long enough. He's a vet. If he can kind of learn this playbook and learns what Spags wants him to do, I think
fun little nugget. He's the one that picked off that pass when Rashee Rice got his knee taken out.
Yeah.
When Mahomes took his knee out.
We talked about that a little while ago. I think I like the signing, but he's got to get healthy. Like, we can't have a good corner room if him and Watson and Nazee's constantly going to be injured all the time. Like, you just can't have that. Like, you got to stay on the field. That's knock on wood, that's what Trent McDuffie's done well his career, and that's why Trent McDuffie's made going to make some good money.
This is funny. Julia says Cochran stinks at linebacker. Who would you rather have? Him at linebacker or Sorensen safety? Well, here's what I'll say about Dan Sorensen. He caught a lot of crap, but he was a big boomer bust player. Like, he would make a huge play.
Hey, man, the Cleveland Browns in the playoffs.
He would make monster plays at times. Cochran's not really that. Like, you don't ever really see anything impressive.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Dirty Dan, man.
I would too. Going Dirty Dan. Peter Ortiz says Watson will come back strong this year. Man, if he can stay healthy, I think he'll be just fine. I think he's a good corner. And that's kind of the conversation we had earlier about Josh Williams. He did have a bad game against the Seahawks in preseason here. But I feel like that Josh Williams kind of plays similar to Jalen Watson. He's almost to that level. I think you can maybe give a nod to Watson. He's got to start more. He's got more experience. I think you can say he's a little bit better than Williams, but he's right there with him. And then to me, you got Najee Johnson after all that. It's just like I don't even feel like Najee Johnson is in the same tier of corner as the other guys. It's just consistent abuse. Like, other teams pick on him when they see him on the field because they know it's a weak link. And that's just something we don't need out there.
Steve, the Chiefs, we talked about this with Omar Norman Lott. Why do they take players and move them around? Like, why did Najee ever not just get to stick to the safety position?
Later, Brenda. Hope you have a good night. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, maybe you want to stick him back at safety and see if he can do the job there, then I'm cool with that. But I think as far as just putting him in at corner in a situation where it's not necessary, now maybe if we have a lot of injuries and we have to go that deep, then okay. But other than that, why are we why are we doing this?
Here's one thing I'll say about Nazi. When Nazi sees the ball, Nazi will try to make plays on the ball, and that's what gets him in trouble sometimes, right? Sometimes he's a little too aggressive in certain spots. If you put him at safety and keep everything in front of him, he's fast anyway. Like, he's got pretty good speed. I think he can close down angles. I think he can close down, the from the hashes to the sidelines there in quarters. I think he can do all that, and I think he would be kind of a ball hawk kind of safety. I don't know why they put him out of the safety position. To me, it doesn't. Did they do it out of necessity? Well, we don't need it anymore. So how about we just move him back?
Did we need it last season? Because I don't think we did.
Well, I mean, we did need some corner help last year.
I would have much rather see Josh Williams on the field last year. I'm just going to say that.
He looked better in his time he played.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's talk about the safeties just a little bit. As far as corner goes, I think it's kind of the consensus between me and you guys let us know in the chat what you think. But if I had to take 3 corners right now, it's Christian Fulton, McDuffie, and Watson, and I'm sure you're going to see Shamari Connor in there playing the nickel. That's just how Spags is going to do it.
Yeah.
And then if Christian Fulton's not available, then let's bring Noel Williams on in and let him get going. That's kind of where I'm at. You guys let us know where you're at.
And I'm decently comfortable, Steve, with Christian Roland Wallace in the slot too, if that needs to
right.
be.
I think him and Shamari Connor will kind of rotate. I really do. Yeah, they're both pretty good. They have their moments. Connor can get burned from time to time. We've seen that, but they're pretty decent. Let's talk about the safety room. This is where what you thought was a big, obvious, glaring hole on this entire team was the safety position. After we lost Justin Reed, couldn't pay him. They did bring in Mike Edwards. You're not the hugest fan of Mike Edwards. You don't think he's looked that great in the preseason. And then you just got Brian Cook, and you got a lot of young guys there. Jaden Hicks. You've got Glendon Miller. And who's the other kid? Major Williams.
Major Williams.
Right, those are kind of what you're looking at there. Now, we do have Shamari Connor, Nazi Johnson. They can both play the safety position, same with Christian Roland Wallace. But they haven't really put them back there, I don't think. I could be wrong. I have to go back and watch the tape, but I feel like they've just been kind of sticking with Brian Cook early, with Mike Edwards and Jaden Hicks. I don't know if we've seen a whole lot of – I know we haven't seen Nazi in the safety position, which I would rather see. How much Major Williams have we seen? How much Glendon Miller have we seen?
Major Williams has actually played some. He's had 2 tackles in the preseason. He's had 2 tackles, and he's had 3 total tackles. He's not recorded a sack. He's not recorded I don't think he's recorded a PBU yet. I could be wrong about that. But it doesn't say it on here. On the
Have a good night,
database.
Terry.
The other one, Glendon Miller, he's had 2 total tackles. He's not showing in the stats for PBU or a sack. I mean, it is what it is with those 2. They're young. They're learning. Edwards, you'd expect Edwards to do a little bit better than he's done. Let me go check Edwards. Let me forget the stats. Let me go bring up PFF with Edwards and see what they're grading him back there.
You can't look at PFF now. You can't do that.
You can only do it if you want to talk trash to Kingsley.
Right.
If it supports anybody, it's not good. If it trashes someone, by all means, use PFF.
While you're looking up the stuff with Edwards, I just want to kind of throw this out there. We see a lot of that, like especially on X. People hate PFF. There's a lot of people on here that hate PFF. People don't like when you use PFF as a tool, but I think it's because they don't understand PFF. PFF, the way they grade guys, it's not how you think. They do it position by position, and they do it play by play. But the way that they grade them is within like a 4-point swing. It's either you can go -2 up to +2, and they grade each snap for each position against the expected outcome.
Right.
So this is the expected outcome of the play, and this is what happened. Okay, so that's how they're graded. So it's not just what people think where it's like, oh, well, he was fantastic, he was great. It's literally their own metrics, their own grading system, and it's a useful tool if you know what it means and you know how to use it. But if you think it's like a grading scale like elementary school where if someone gets an 80 that they got a C, then you're wrong because 80 is a really good grade.
Steve, I think they changed that now. Isn't 80 a B? They're
I
all
don't
over
know.
it now. Who knows? Steve, Mike Edwards, look, here's what he's scored so far in the preseason. let's just talk about this for 1 second. In the 2025 preseason, against the Arizona Cardinals, week 1, he had 21 snaps, 13 of them were in coverage. He had a 51 coverage grade. He gave up 1 target, 1 reception for 43 yards. So he gave up a bomb. He also missed a tackle that game. Sorry. He had a 26 tackle rating, a 43 overall defense, and a 51 coverage grade. Horrible. Week 2 versus Seattle, he played 19 snaps, so he played 2 less snaps. 6 of those were coverage. His coverage grade went up a little bit, 64. His tackling went up to an 80 because he didn't miss any tackles. He actually had 2 tackles, 3 assists, and he actually wasn't even targeted in the game. So coverage grade was a 64, but what they're saying is if they would have targeted him, he could have been beat a few times. But for some reason, they didn't look his way. The play wasn't designed to go to his guy, whatever. So he did play better in Seattle. I'll give it to him. He looked better against Seattle than he did against Arizona. I mean, I even seen that with my own eyes. But the thing about it is Arizona, he looked really bad. But here's what I'll say. I'm with you. It does kind of feel like he's going to have to make this team because they're just not giving Glendon Miller and Major Williams the amount of snaps that they need to be able to turn the corner here.
Well, Mike Edwards has proved he can be a good safety for the Chiefs. He did it. Like he was good when the Chiefs had him last time. He wasn't spectacular, wasn't great, but he's good. And the way he plays the game is kind of the way they want this defense to go. You can just tell there's a narrative they're pushing, and that is to turn the ball over, win these turnover battles. And Mike Edwards is that type of player. It comes straight from Patrick Mahomes' mouth last time we had him, that he reminds him of Tyrann Mathieu. He's always around the ball. He's where he's supposed to be at, and he's always looking to make a play. So, I mean, that's just what you have with Mike Edwards. Now, with that aggressiveness, you're also going to have some big plays like the one that you just mentioned. And I would like, that kind of is a segue into this comment that I wanted to get to real quick from Daniel. He says, from what I saw on game film, he's talking about, I've clicked the wrong one. Dang. Daniel's talking a lot. No, I'm just kidding. He says, I wanted to say I really like Noah Williams. I think he'll be a damn good corner. He struggled against Seattle and does need to control and harness his aggression when pressing. So Noah Williams is exactly that same type of player. We compared him to Marcus Peters, right? That's who came to mind when you watch his college tape. He is aggressive. He is a ball hawk. He will cause turnovers, but he will also get burned from time to time. Marcus Peters used to get burned a lot because sometimes you just get caught being too aggressive. It's just the nature of the beast. But that's how the guy plays, man. And I think there is some restraint that you have to show with that, and I think that'll come with experience for Noah Williams. It'll only take getting burned 1 or 2 times before you start being a little more hesitant or lay off a little bit. But you have to learn when to pick your spots, right? Like you have to know when to be aggressive and when not to be, and that'll come along with it. But I just think overall the secondary, Mike, there's a question mark out there for the secondary in general. I think the safety position is kind of up in the air, and it could be a step back from last year. I think we expect it to be after losing Justin Reed. And I think the corners might not be as good and deep as we previously thought.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a little bit of question mark. The secondary is definitely something to keep an eye on. Hopefully it all works out. Hopefully it develops well, but we'll see how it gets going as soon as the season starts. Once again, preseasons are really hard to judge. Shout out Bryant Williamson with a 5 bomb. Says, whoa, my guys in ACU, I'm back in Kansas doing my thing. I'm at peace. Where you been at? Where you been at, Bryant?
What you been doing, buddy?
Appreciate the 5, man. Hear ye. Where have you been, Bryant Williamson? Gotta let us know. Anyway, Mike, let's talk about the offense a little bit before we get off here tonight. Okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Once again, we're going to be here for just a little while longer. If you haven't hit the like button yet or shared this out to everybody on your social media or whatever, do it. Do your boys a solid. Do it. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, highly suggest that. Ride with All Chiefed Up for the season coming up. It's going to be a fun one. We put out just as much content as any other Chiefs creator on YouTube, and it's the most entertaining and fun content. So click that subscribe button. You'll want to see it. Also, get in on all these live streams, have some fun, get in the chat. We love it. Also, if you'd like to join and be a member of the channel, there's some perks to it. So go to join.allchievedup.com. You can start at $4.99 a month, which is less than a bag of Doritos a month. So get on it. You're going to win that Mike Pennell signed football. See, here's a story for you. There was a guy last month that got gifted a membership. It was his first week being a member.
It was like his first day, wasn't it?
It was literally like within the same week. He got gifted a membership, and he said, hey, cool, I'm a member of All Chiefed Up now, so I'm going to watch this members-only live stream a couple days later. Good idea. He clicks it. He's on there. What happens? He wins a signed jersey. Literally all within a couple days. So, I mean, it could be you too. Go sign up. Jeremy, it was you.
Jeremy.
It was you.
It was.
Let's freaking go. All right, man. Let's talk about the offense. We know that the running back position is a little odd right now. But, I mean, I think overall, if you want to talk top end, I will go ahead and say this. You got Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, which you know is your 1 and 2. Those are going to be the bulk of your carries, the bulk of your snaps.
Yeah.
Brashard Smith's on this football team. Brashard
Yeah,
Smith
100%.
showed us in this last game he can do things on the football field
There's
that other
no
guys
way.
can't do.
No way he's not making the team.
He does things that other guys can't do. And he does a lot of fun stuff and a lot of things that Andy Reid's going to have fun with. Plus, he's a receiving threat. He's in. Carson Steele and Elijah Mitchell, both of them could make the roster. Both of them could not. It's kind of up in the air on those two. I think that's what you want to keep an eye on there. But what's more exciting, Mike, is the wide receivers. We know with the Rashee Rice suspension looming that there's an opening for somebody to step up, right? There's going to be an opening sometime throughout the season for a guy to step up. Now, first, to be able to take advantage of that opportunity, you got to make the 53-man roster, right? And right now, it's looking like, Jalen Royals is in at your 5th position. And we know that Nico Remigio is not going anywhere. He's going to be your returner. I can almost guarantee that. Dave Tobe kind of put a bow on that at the beginning of the preseason, really the beginning of camp. So I think if they take 7, which I think they will now with the Rashee Rice stuff going on, it's got to be who? Tyquan Thornton? Or is it Jason Brownlee? Or could Elijah Badger sneak in there? Like, it's kind of up in the air. Right now, if it was me, I'm thinking Tyquan Thornton's probably the obvious one. Jason Brownlee's made a case. He's made a case for himself.
Yeah, I agree.
But I kind of feel like he could get that Amir Smith-Marset treatment. Not saying we could trade him and get a pick, but he's like kind of someone everyone's talking about in the preseason and in camp and all that, and he just doesn't make the roster for whatever reason. I think Tyquan Thornton has consistently been a guy that Mahomes is in sync with. It's a guy that Andy Reid's been intrigued by, and I think he's been playing well. I think he showed why that they've been intrigued with him. I almost think if they go 7, it's got to be Thornton.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now as well. I think you've got your top 4, basically your top 5. I think Nico's got a lock on that. I think he's your 6. And then, of course, I think it's Thornton right now. Brownlee's giving himself a chance. He's giving himself a chance, but I don't know what Brownlee could actually do to get over the hump. Now, what he is doing is he's giving himself a chance to put some good film out there. Maybe he gets poached off the practice squad. Maybe the Chiefs can trade him for something like they did Amir Smith-Marset a couple of seasons ago. So you've got that going. I think the Chiefs' kingdom would fall apart if Brett Veach actually used Tyquan Thornton like Amir Smith-Marset and traded him.
Oh, yeah. People wouldn't be happy about that.
I'm not going to never say never on that either.
It could happen.
If they think that Brownlee is just as good or better and they like something about him, or they just decide they want to take Sky Moore, like, again, I don't like to say that, but they could just very well say, I want to take Sky Moore.
He did return a punt for 88 yards.
And so they may have to do something. It's either put him on the practice squad and they get poached or try to get something from him. So, I mean, Thornton or Brownlee could be a trade candidate, and I'm not saying they will, but, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Brett Veach.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's definitely up in the air. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Brett Veach will pull a wild card on you sometimes, so you gotta watch out. Bryant Williamson with another 5-bomb. I clicked the wrong one.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm terrible today. He said, hear ye, trucking around from Cali to New Jersey lately. Next, back to Springfield. Brashard Smith will make this team. Yes, 100%.
So Bryant's a trucker. He's like K. Wayne out there.
He's a mini K. Wayne. Following in the footsteps of K. Wayne. K. Wayne influencing the youth of America.
Yeah.
Let's go. Be careful out there, by the way. Glad you're home. Do your thing in Kansas, and then you can go back to Cali again. Go to the beach. We got a 10 bomb from Iron Price. Says Mitchell Schwartz can suck it. Hey, man. Here's the thing. I like Mitchell Schwartz as a football player, and I think he's an okay guy. But sometimes he likes to be a know-it-all on X. He'll get in conversations that he probably shouldn't even be in, just to kind of flex like I was an offensive lineman in the NFL. And, he does that a lot. He must be bored. I thought he was a chef or something. I thought he was supposed to be cooking stuff. Like,
he's cooking up some tweets.
Yeah, he's cooking on Twitter.
I mean, honestly, when we had the conversation, I thought I was very respectful. I didn't say nothing wrong to him, and he asked me a question.
Why would you?
Well, I mean, he said, do you think...
Suck it, Mitchell.
Right. He said, what do you think the play was and who you think messed up? And I was like, well, assuming your play's right. And I told him, and he never responded back to me.
If you make a good point, he won't respond.
Right.
I've noticed
and
that.
He never. So I took that as a win.
Exactly. And then the next thing that you should put on there is this.
Suck it! Suck it! They got 2 words for you! Suck it!
Got to take them losses. Got to hold them L's, Mitch. Nah, it's cool to be able to. It's kind of cool that you can talk to ex-players and stuff and get their input. For real. His brother actually talked about Kingsley Suamataia on X, Jeff Schwartz.
What did Jeff have to say about it?
He said he's got to take that power to the defense. He said he can't be laying back.
Right.
He said that's it. He said as a guard, you got to get out there and make that hit yourself. Quit waiting for them to get to you. That's literally what he said. He said he's about mauler in the run game, excellent blocker. He's just got to get into that guard role and just know how to play that position.
That's exactly what I've seen, man. He looks like a tackle playing guard right now.
Yeah, and he played in the NFL too. So, if they all know what they're talking about.
I didn't.
Oh, that's awesome. Y'all put in the chat who you think is going to be number 7 wide receiver. Is it going to be Thornton? Is it going to be Brownlee? Or is it going to be Sky Moore?
Because of the punt return. Did you see the tweet I threw up, Steve, that said the most useless things in life? And I put up a third nipple.
Yeah.
Sky Moore's punt return.
Well, if that punt return shows you anything, this is what it should tell you. Sky Moore has speed. Sky Moore has the physical traits.
Well, in that tight position, he's got a little bit of field vision to him.
Of course he does.
That's why we wanted him to get the ball more, but this cat can't catch the ball on
Mike,
screen passes. So.
We've known this.
Yeah,
we've known
tried to say
that's
this,
his MO. Make people miss.
But
that's
maybe
what he
Andy
does.
just can't. Why don't they turn him into a running back? You don't have to catch the ball anymore.
No, but it does show you like how weird of an anomaly that he is. Like the kid is insanely fast and quick area, like short area quickness. He's not Tyreek Hill, but he's just a tad under him. He's just a touch back. Like he's got all kinds of physical traits, and it's just crazy. It's not been able to translate, and I swear it's the yips. The guy has the yips, 100%. A bad case of the Kadarius Tonys, and they won't go away. And they're not going to go away in Kansas City because people won't allow it to go away. Well, he's going to have to get a new. He's going to have to get a change of scenery.
I'm going to tell you how it goes away. In the next preseason game, if they throw the ball,
he needs to catch the
10
ball
times to him. Yeah, I would just throw the ball over and over to him. I'd be like, every play, guys, we're throwing at Sky Moore. Whether you're covered or not, I'm throwing the ball to you. Catch it.
Like, here's the thing. Sky Moore looks like he can't. Sky Moore looks like he can't catch a football. Yeah. Let's be honest. You can't catch. You just can't catch. Is that necessarily true? I don't think so. If you go watch Sky Moore's football career before all this debacle, and you even watch him, his personal workouts, you watch him at practice, you watch this and that, the guy can catch a football, believe it or not. It's just so strange.
His rookie season? I remember going back and watching camp stuff of his rookie season, and people were hyping him up just like they are Thornton now. Sky Moore was a great pick. Sky Moore was making diving plays. People loved Sky Moore. Some guy said he was going to be a Hall of Fame. I almost screenshot that on X. But
Steve Smith said he was going to be the best out of that class.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's always had the intangibles, but just something turned. And it's that, and it's the Dave Tobe thing.
It was the fumbled punts, the muffed punts, and then everyone got their pitchforks out, and he's not been right in the head since. He can't get it out of his head. That's what it is, 100%. But something else weird about Sky Moore, he's only about 5'10", and he's got mitts on him like D-Hop. He's got over 10-inch hands. Just massive mitts. He should be catching everything. He should be catching everything. I don't get it.
We got to get him that stuff that they had in Little Giants where he clapped and he said, "Oh no!"
Stuck to his chest.
Yeah, give him something.
Something's got something.
Dude
I think
needs
he needs
something,
a change of scenery. I think the Chiefs could do him a favor by not putting him on this roster and letting him go elsewhere. Honestly, I think it's what it is. He needs a fresh start.
I think when we talked with Dieter and we all come up with that idea, and Dieter was pushing it hard.
that was his. Yeah.
Dieter's was the first one to say it, and when I heard it, I was like, "Yeah, man, I think you're right." Like they should have cut him early in camp and let him try to go somewhere else and do it because what's he had to show now?
Dude, he's definitely an anomaly. We've talked about that. We've been talking about Sky Moore for 3.5 years because it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't make sense. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd thing, but I think this might be the last season you have to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, his drop rate in college was
Shazam
great.
says try him at corner.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's got all these.
Try him at running back. He's got tree trunk legs.
Can you imagine him at running back?
Do you remember when Kadarius Toney had the yips right before we cut him last year?
We put
And
him
they
in
were
the
trying
backfield?
They were trying to put the ball in his hands in the backfield. Sky Moore with the ball in his hands in space could be a very good player. We've said this over and over again, but the problem is we don't run enough plays that do that. And then when he gets his opportunity, he drops the ball. So it's like if you take the catch out of the equation, maybe you can just hand it to him.
Yeah, man. He needs that stick 'em. Don said Sky's the football bad news Bears player. That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, what's going to happen now? Every time you see him out there, you're just
I
like,
almost
oh,
fell
God.
over when he dropped that the other night. Like I almost couldn't believe it. It was so easy, and he just drops it.
Like the kickoff return was just stupid. He didn't even need to catch it. It was just dumb. Like, so that's one thing. But that pass, I mean, there was no one 10 yards near him, and he just dropped a screen pass. Like, I don't know, man.
It was raining. Is that what he said?
He got Mike. Maybe he was wearing glasses, and it was cool outside, and the condensation from his breath fogged his glasses up, and he dropped the football. What do you think?
It's possible. It's happened to me before.
Mike used that as an excuse for missing a free throw in an outdoor
It wasn't
basketball
an
game once.
excuse. It actually happened.
Pops, I know you remember this. Mike
Pops
said he
don't
missed a
remember
free
it?
throw because his breath fogged his glasses.
That was actually 100% true.
It's not.
It is.
There's no way.
I swear to you, it was.
Mike, you should have got a trophy for that excuse, brother.
Dude, it actually happened. I will stick by that forever.
I don't think so.
I could
might
have
be-
recreated it if you'd allowed me.
Maybe you're the only person in history that's happened to. The funny thing is, you have to be outdoors or in a very, very cold place.
We were playing. It was freezing cold. I was hot. I was breathing hard at the free throw line, and I swear it just it got me. It was the perfect breath.
That's what happened to this guy more on his screen.
But you know what? You know what? How I learned to deal with that? You called it. You said it was an excuse. It really happened. I'll never convince you of that. But you know what I did from that moment on? I would go out and I would shoot 10 to 20 free throws a day with my eyes closed, and now I could do it by feel. I don't even have to see.
Just in case you breathed into your own glasses. again.
Exactly. See, you had to work with it, and I turned a positive or negative into a positive, and now I can
Yeah,
shoot a free
actually,
throw blindfolded,
you know,
bro.
You might be right because ever since you got contacts, I don't think you've ever missed a free throw since.
Never.
Been like a little John Stockton out there,
They
little
don't.
Mark Price.
They
action.
don't fog up, man.
That's freaking great, dude.
That's one thing to know about Mike. Mike's a free throw legend. Steve was a basketball legend though. When he was like, how old were you? You were probably like 10 years old. He looked like a little butterball turkey out there. He's a little chunky little guy.
Well, it was funny because I was like a head taller than everybody, but they made me play point guard, so I was kind of like LeBron James.
Yeah, he looked like a
of
power
junior pro
forward.
basketball. Yeah,
A power forward. It looked like Charles Barkley bringing the ball up the court on a bunch of John Stocktons. And dude, it was hilarious.
hey
'cause
man, I had 38
Steve was
points
like,
in my final
dude,
game.
That's what I'm saying. Like you were showboating on these kids. Like just, it was like Allen Iverson type stuff too, dude. Steve was a legend at basketball, and then he. Well, I mean, you grew to 6'4". You should have been able to continue it, but I think you just got out of shape.
I started playing baseball, brother. I was pitching.
Yeah, you give up your meal ticket there. You could
I
have
was
been the
too
next Steph Curry.
I was too fat and out of shape for basketball. So what's next? Let's pitch the
You
baseball.
didn't have to do nothing but pitch.
It was
You
great.
threw your arm out. Steve, you have the worst luck with everything, is what I'm learning at this point.
I do. You know this. It's the Williams curse.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, man.
Well, we appreciate you guys being with us tonight. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for getting in the chat all that good stuff. Thanks for all the donos, the gifted memberships. You guys are freaking awesome. Be on the lookout for a video on Tuesday. We'll have our podcast. Our weekly podcast will be posted on Tuesday, and then videos on Wednesday, and another live stream on Thursday. You know the drill. Always ACU content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do us a favor, hit the like button on the way out if you have not yet. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
I'm